You're listening to PetLifeRadio.com.
Welcome to My Dog Digs Dirt. I'm your host, Lauren Collier. Don't know about you, but I am forever intrigued by people who leave their longtime jobs to pursue their passion for pets and animals. On today's show, we're going to meet a woman who did just that, left her corporate career to pursue two of her passions, animals and crocheting. Her name is Andrea Dener, but she's known now as the Yarn Farmer. Meet her up next on My Dog Digs Dirt.
Put a puppy under the Christmas tree. Wait, you read it, not feed it. It's The Dog with the Opposable Thumb, an accidental love story. The fun new book by award-winning author Mark Barkowitz. When an accidentally DNA-altered puppy is born with a thumb, his lovelorn grad student caretaker devises a strategy to achieve their Kardashian-like fame and fortune. It's funny, intelligent, and incredibly unique. And 20% of book sales benefit the Pasadena Humane Society and SPCA. The Dog with the Opposable Thumb is available now through Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com, and MarkBark.org. Thumbs up to a howling fun book for the holidays. The Dog with the Opposable Thumb. Order yours now.
Let's Talk Pets on PetLifeRadio.com.
Welcome back to My Dog Digs Dirt and meet the Yarn Farmer, Andrea Dener, who left her longtime career unexpectedly, but has turned it around to pursue two of her passions, animals and crocheting. Welcome, Andrea.
Hi, thank you.
So happy to have you here. A little twist on our story. You weren't expecting to leave your career, but actually it has turned out into a wonderful thing. So let's talk about the Yarn Farmer. How did you get started?
Well, thanks. Well, yeah, I was in my position with a corporate company for many, many years, almost 20 years, and I lost my job unexpectedly. And I found a pattern while I was sort of regrouping and recovering from the shock of losing my job. I found a pattern for knitting lemons, and it was called When Life Gives You Lemons. And I hadn't knitted in a long time, but life had just given me lemons. So I thought, let me make these lemons. So I knitted some lemons, and then I found a pattern for some oranges, and then some pears, and a banana, and strawberries, and then I found a pattern for an apple hat and a pumpkin hat, and next thing I knew, I was just making items that are, as I like to say, inspired by fun, food, and the farm, and I started calling myself a yarn farmer.
I love it.
And now I crochet carrot scarves and all kinds of fun things.
Because I said your passions, animals and crocheting, and also we'll add knitting to that. So I'm sure at the beginning it was hard because you were shocked that you had lost your job, though you always had a passion, I know, for animals because you're very big into animal rescue. So how did you combine these passions of your love of animals, your crocheting and knitting, and put that all together?
Yeah, well, I started actually after I picked up my knitting needles and crochet hooks again a couple years back. I found an organization called the Snuggles Organization, and they actually inspire you to crochet and knit blankets for animals in shelters and rescue groups. So I started doing that, which is also a great way to use up yarn. You know, and I always say animals don't care if you miss a stitch, or they don't care what the color looks like, or if it's the right size. They don't care. They're grateful, and they're warm, and they're cozy. So I knit and crochet these blankets for animals in my local shelters, and then that's a really great organization. It's nationwide, so I support them, and I also make things for animals here in Norwalk, Connecticut, as well as down south. I do a lot with animal rescue for the South Carolina and Georgia area, that for all the dogs and cats that come up from there. So I just try to do anything I can to help animals and the people who help the animals. I knit and crochet for the people, the angels who are helping the rescue efforts out there, because it's a thankless job. It's a labor of love, and it's often cold what they're doing. I mean, just one of the women I support, the groups I support, came up this weekend in that snowstorm here. She drove through the ice, through the snow, got a flat on the New York State Thruway, kept coming, and she brings up animals and rescues hundreds and hundreds of animals down south. So I make them gloves and hats and scarves, and I try to do whatever I can to keep them going. They're on the front line, so, I'm behind the scenes, and I can do what I can for them.
I think
so it's a great way to combine it for me.
And, of course, those you donate, which is even more wonderful. So you're able to do that through this sort of new career. And also, though, some of your creations, which you said began with cute little things, and I've seen them, and they're adorable, with the fruit hats and all the farm-inspired crocheting gifts. Let's talk about some of the things that have turned into pet and animal creations for us humans to get from you.
Oh, great, yeah. Well, I have this great yarn that's reflective. So during the day, it looks like regular yarn, but at night or in the dark hours of the morning these days, when a car headlight comes upon it, you're more visible. And I call that my 3 B's line. It's be safe, be seen, be smart.
Nice.
And actually 4 B's, be stylish. So be styling. So it's reflective yarn. I make hats for humans, and you have a couple of them.
I have two beautiful ones that I get compliments on all the time. One is a cat, and one is a little piggy, and they are adorable.
And they're warm, so I like to say I put the fun in functional, and I put the warm in whimsical. And so you're out there, you're visible, and I also make items for dogs. So I make leash covers, actually, reflective leash covers that can slide right over your existing leash. So you get the strength of your regular leash plus reflection so drivers can see you. I also make what I call howl cowls, and they're actually cowls for dogs, like a human would wear a cowl, but it's for a dog. So it, especially dark dogs, like your beautiful Inoki, when you're walking at night and the dog's not visible, if they're wearing this howl cowl, it's visible. It's reflective, visible. They come in great colors and all sizes, from a Chihuahua to an Inoki. So those are great.
Very important, because sometimes people don't realize when they're walking their dog or how dark it is. I've been driving often, and I see someone walking and they have no reflection on, and it's very difficult to see. So these would be really, really needed, especially this time of year here in the winter. Yeah.
Same with me last night. I was driving and somebody crossed, against the light, and I could have easily hit them. They were completely dressed in dark clothes. They didn't have a dog, thank God, but they were completely dressed in dark clothes. I didn't hardly see them. It was very foggy, and I thought it was, and then I'm like, wow, that reflective yarn really does pack a punch. So I also have reflective pom-poms and ear warmers for humans, so you can be visible from head to toe. Also, speaking of which, like boot cuffs for you to put inside your boots, which keep your legs warm, but also give you light so people see you as you're walking. So
Fantastic.
That's one of my lines. And, all kinds of things. I've actually made a hat for a cat. A woman I met I met a woman at a farmer's market, and she had a cat with neurological problems due to Lyme disease, and her cat fell over all the time. Wow. So she wanted me to make a little hat for her cat. When I told her I made cat hats, that wasn't what I had in mind. But she made a little, helmet for him out of a rubber mat, and then I put a hat over the mat.
How
adorable.
So
basically it was a mat cat hat at that point, which I just thought of. Yeah, and it really helped because it's sad. I had a blind dog, as you know, my little cheeky, and he fell over a lot, and he hit his head, and, you don't want them to get hurt. So you do what you can for them, our little furry friends.
Now, are these made to order? Where can people get them? I guess either you can contact you and you can do it whatever they need, or how does that work?
Yeah, I have some items like the carrot scarves and apple hats and pumpkin hats. I always have those around, but I definitely make everything to order. I knit and crochet. So depending on what sizes you need and what colors you like, I can make anything for you. And they can check out items on my Facebook page. It's the Yarn Farmers Market, or they can email me at yarnfarmer1, the number 1, at gmail.com. or message me through Facebook, and we can talk about it. I can mail everything. I have gift certificates available as well if you want to get something for someone, but you don't know their favorite colors, or you don't know what they want. Maybe you think they'd want to wear a hat, but they really like ear warmers, or not quite sure. You can give them a gift certificate to the Yarn Farmer, and then they can get in touch with me. I can make whatever they like. Everything I make for humans and canines are available from newborn to adult. So we can make puppy items, we can make baby items, we can make anything. I make
love that.
everything. So
And Kit Kats, too. And you have an exciting new project, which we're going to talk about right after this break. It's called Forever Yours. And, folks, you will want to hear about this. It's really just a lovely thing you're doing, Andrea. So stay tuned. My Dog Digs Dirt. We'll be back right after this.
I have 2 cats and 2 dogs. All 4 of them are on the Dynavite. This stuff is amazing. The first day that I gave Sweet Pea and Daisy the Dynavite for cats, I did add a little bit of the Lick-a Chops, and they absolutely loved it. All the vitamins, the minerals, they also enjoyed the Num-Nums, the Nub-Nubs or whatever they're called, the treats that also came along with it.
DINOVITE.com.
859-428-1000.
They're just running through the house. They're playing. My Sweet Pea will walk in front of me. She'll stop where she's at, drop, and roll onto her back, and then expect me to rub her belly, just like a kitten. Daisy and Susie have a cat tree in my living room, and lately she's been climbing up to the top, jumping up there, and then she'll climb back down, and then she's right back up again. I'm sorry. I wish they would make a product for us humans to give us the same amount of energy and spunk that Dynavite for cats are given for my cats. The phone number is 859-428-1000.
859-428-1000. DINOVITE.com.
Begging to hear more of your favorite show? Full episodes of all our shows are available on demand. Go to PetLifeRadio.com to fetch our entire lineup of Possum Pet podcasts. Also, dig us up in iHeartRadio and iTunes. Let's Talk Pets. Live and on demand only from Pet Life Radio. Let's Talk Pets.
Let's Talk Pets.
On Pet Life Radio.
Pet Life Radio.
PetLifeRadio.com.
Welcome back to My Dog Digs Dirt. We're here with the yarn farmer, Andrea Dener, who left a long-time corporate career to start her very own business as the yarn farmer. So welcome back, everybody. Before the break, I mentioned, Andrea, you have started another branch, which this is just such a lovely thing you're doing. It's called Forever Yours. Explain to everybody what this is.
Forever Yours is a line of creations, knitted and crochet creations, that are actually made with your own dog's fur. And what happens is we collect their fur. I send it away to someone who spins it into yarn. And it's cleaned, thoroughly cleaned. It's prepared for spinning, and then it's spun into magnificent yarn, which actually looks like mohair, angora, all the high-end fibers that you can think of is how dog hair and cat hair turns out once you spin it. And I came upon this many, many years ago. I had a beautiful Shepherd Husky mix who I found and loved dearly, and I would brush her, and then I happened to see someone on the news, I think, on like the Today Show, who was talking about dog hair yarn, which is officially known as Angora. And Shein is the French word for dog, and then Gora as in Angora. Okay. So they call it Angora. It's a very old art. Actually, the Native Americans were spinning dog hair, or probably not spinning, but using dog hair. And Scandinavians used dog hair for their winter items. It's extremely warm. It's warmer than wool. And before America had sheep, that's what was used here, before the Spaniards brought sheep. So there's a long history of it. Wow. And I just think it's really beautiful. Yeah, and it's really, really warm. And no, whatever you make does not smell like wet dog when you wear it. Which what a lot of people ask, and the common answer to that is your wool sweater doesn't smell like a wet sheep. So
hopefully, right.
So it's the same idea. The fiber is cleaned, spun, and then you can create, knit and crochet with it. So I call it Forever Yours, F-U-R, Ever Yours, because it's made with fur, obviously, and then your loved furry friends are with you forever. And now that my original dog that I used for my first projects, now that she's gone, I do have her with me forever. I have a hat with her, and I'm telling you, it has to be about -20. This is perfect weather for Angora creation. It is so warm. Once you have something made from this fiber, you will completely understand how dogs can be outside in the snow. The husky Samoyed, Bouvier, might I add.
Yeah. Well, someone actually did this for me, and it sounded. I thought it was easy to collect, fur that's on the floor and such. And what happened is, two of my Bouviers previously passed away, and this wonderful woman made for me a beautiful little blanket with their fur. And like you said, it's a wonderful gift to give to someone because they have their dogs or, I guess with them always. So that I really love that project. And I think people don't realize it's not like you have to pull the hair off of them or anything. You can just collect it from your house. And
you collect it, brush them as you normally would, and you put it in a cotton pillowcase or a brown bag. It has to be something that can breathe, so you don't want to put it in plastic. And then you just brush them. And I make heart-shaped pillows. I make all kinds of things. The hats are really, really warm, so I tend to make scarves and ear warmers because they're not, it doesn't have to be -20 to wear them. But the heart-shaped pillows are beautiful and, all kinds of things. It's just a great memory.
Gift. It's a beautiful gift to give to somebody too as a remembrance. So that is a really nice thing. I love that. So you're busy now. What advice would you give to others, Andrea, who maybe find themselves in the position you were? You had a long-time job, unexpectedly left it, but were able to sort of think about, I love to do these things and I'm going to try to turn it into a business.
Right. One, I would strongly suggest give yourself a lot of time to recover from the shock of losing your job. Unless, it was anticipated and you had a long exit ramp, as I like to say. But if it comes as a sudden exit ramp, come upon it suddenly, then just give yourself a lot of time and think about what you really do want to do. And you may not make, a lot of money doing it. It may or may not pay the bills. I was hoping this would be my, Shark Tank moment. But as I like to say, do what you love and the opportunities follow. The money may not, but the opportunities will. And I've just met some beautiful people through this experience. When I talk about my knitting and my crocheting, I have magnetic signs on my car. I strongly suggest doing that because it brings a lot of attention. And have fun with it. I have these crazy multicolor sheep on my magnetic signs, and people smile. I just like to, bring joy into the world. So think about what you like to do and develop something from that. And then from that, maybe you'll get some pocket change. You may not pay the bills, maybe you will. But in between all that, you're really enjoying yourself and your life and, interviewing maybe for another job in between all that.
Yeah.
But I like to give back, and I do a lot. I actually have another project. I knit and crochet hats for Israeli soldiers. And I teach others how to do that. And I teach at Norwalk Community College now. I'm teaching beginner crocheting. So, as I said, do what you love and opportunities follow. And that's what's important, The bills are going to be there no matter what. The other thing I would suggest is there's a great organization called SCORE, and they provide totally free business support. You get a mentor, you can meet with your mentor in person, you can email, you can talk on the phone. They have great workshops, seminars, webinars, everything and anything you can possibly imagine is provided by SCORE, and it's all free. They're subsidized by the Small Business Administration, I think, ironically, which now Linda McMahon is overseeing. So, funny how things come around. But that's what I would say. I would give yourself a lot of time, think about what you like to do or love to do or want to do, and then try it. It's like the lottery thing. You got to be in it to win it. So
absolutely.
You can sit on your couch all you want and dream, but just try. Just try. I just love it. I wasn't even a big knitter or crocheter. I hadn't done it since, I was a kid probably, but it brought up just a lot of joy for me and for others. I got certified to teach through the Craft Yarn Council last year, and that was really fun. I met other people. I go to sheep festivals. You just have to figure out what you love to do and do it, because work is work and bills are bills, and in between all that is life. So
yeah.
That's what I found, And when you're working full time, you don't have time to do all this. So it turned, like you said, into a blessing in disguise in a way, in that, or a silver liner anyway, that I got to develop this and have the time to really follow my heart.
Well, I think it's fantastic. I think that's great advice.
Thank
I want to
you.
remind people where they can find you, Andrea. Let's let them know. First of all, you're on Facebook. What is your Facebook and email?
My Facebook page is The Yarn Farmers Market, and my email address is yarnfarmer1@gmail.com. And I have a regular page under my name, Andrea Dener, Dener. one end. And I do voice messenger. I'll get right back to you. I can mail anything, ship anything, make anything, whatever you come up with, I'll figure out a way to make it.
Oh, you can, and your items are wonderful. I love them.
Thank you.
Some are available in stores. This is mainly in Connecticut, but
right.
Would you like to mention, I know one is Pure Poetry, which is in Trumbull.
Right, yeah, thank you. We have Pure Poetry, a beautiful shop, privately owned shop, small, and then hit the mall, as I like to say. Especially this time of year. So, yep, Pure Poetry, 4244 Madison Avenue in Trumbull. And in the same small little shopping center, there's a beautiful new dog groomer called Wet Paws. And the owners are just lovely. And they're selling my reflective items as well as other items like my puppy hats. So they're both at 4244 Madison Ave in Trumbull. Beautiful people. And also there's a shop in Stamford called the Funky Hippie Gift and Art Shop, which is really nice, 101 Glenbrook Road in Stamford. Really nice owner, beautiful things, lots of unique items and gifts, including the Yarn Farmers. And then I'm also have some reflective items in a Wilton, Connecticut dog grooming spa and salon. It's called Paradise, Pawradise.
Okay. They're all out there, and you can find them as well. We'll put up links for that. Also, you're teaching now. So
I am.
If there's somebody out there listening who might want to learn, I know you're going to teach at Norwalk Community College, but where can people find that information? Also on your website?
I will put it on my Facebook page. I hadn't done that yet, but I will. Thank you. www.norwalk.eu, I believe, or just look up Norwalk Community College. It's under the Division of Life Studies and Extended Studies. I'll be teaching in the spring. It begins in March. It'll be beginner crocheting. They also have a knitting teacher there, but I'll be teaching beginner crocheting. And I also give private lessons. If somebody wants to learn on their own, I'm happy to teach knitting and crocheting in their home. We can meet at a coffee shop. I can do a group, kids stuff. I taught last year at the Westport Library and in the children's library, which was really great. It was adult and child knitting. So it brought like two generations together. There was a niece and an aunt that came together, a mother and daughter, grandmother and granddaughter. It was even a father and a daughter came and they learned to knit together. Yeah, it was really sweet. And my sister always says, we're teaching more than like knitting and crocheting. We're bringing people together through it. And, people used to learn these arts through their grandmothers, but that's not really happening anymore. So I'm glad to be able to keep the fiber arts going and growing myself.
Well, I wish you continued success, Andrea. Once again, the Yarn Farmer, and your website under construction, but hopefully by the time people hear this, they'll be able to log on to theyarnfarmer.com. So
I will get that going too, yes.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for being here. I thank all you listeners out there. And this has been My Dog Digs Dirt.
Let's Talk Pets, every week on demand, only on PetLifeRadio.com.